Welcome to the deep dive. There's something really satisfying about watching plants grow, but maybe even better, finding a way to make them grow that's like incredibly easy but still works perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. That's the sweet spot.
And today, that's what we're diving into. We've got these fascinating notes from a gardener who seems to have cracked the code for propagating coleus with, well, minimal fuss.
That's right. Our mission here is basically to take these observations, these sort of real-world notes, and boil them down into something really practical for you.
Okay.
It's not just about rooting a cutting. It's more about understanding how to work with the plant's natural tendencies and, this is the crucial bit, finding this specific microclimate that honestly makes it almost foolproof.
Yeah.
And surprisingly low effort.
Low effort is good.
Yeah.
So let's start with the plant itself. Coleus, if you grow it, you probably know it's not famous for its flowers.
Yeah, the source notes are very upfront about that. The author literally says Coleus is not my favorite flowering plant. Finds the flowers too small and slow to bloom. Kind of spindly, really. Basically, forget the flowers. They're not the main event.
Okay, so we're ignoring the blooms. The real star, as the notes say, is that it's a fantastic addition as an ornamental foliage plant.
Exactly. It's all about those leaves, the incredible colors, the patterns, the velvety texture, the purples, greens, reds. That's what we want more of.
And focusing on the foliage actually helps with getting more plants, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Because you're growing it for that bushy, colorful look, you're naturally going to be pruning it sometimes, or nature helps out.
How so?
Well, the notes mention that the material for propagation comes about almost accidentally. It's because the plant produces this sheer abundance of side shoots.
Ah, okay. So you're not having to deliberately wound the main plant just to get a piece.
Precisely. These side shoots just become available, either through occasional pruning to keep the shape nice, or, and I found this interesting, sometimes they just get snapped off by strong winds.
Huh. Free cuttings, basically.
Pretty much. The whole process kind of kicks off with this readily available material. You don't need to stress about finding cuttings. The garden just sort of provides them. It sets up this really efficient cycle from the start.
All right, so we've got plenty of these side shoots, these cuttings. Where do we put them? Because my first thought, for rooting anything is usually some warmth, some light.
And that's where these notes get really interesting. They throw that conventional wisdom out the window.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is the core discovery, the thing that makes it all so simple. Forget heat mats, forget grow lights. The source identifies the perfect microclimate for getting these coleus cuttings to root reliably.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is this perfect microclimate?
It's defined very clearly as a partially or fully shaded area in my front yard.
Shade, really? Not bright, indirect light, just shade.
Just shade, partial or full.
Wow, that feels wrong somehow.
Yeah.
Don't cuttings need light to make energy to grow roots? I'd definitely put them somewhere brighter.
That's the common thinking, right? But think about what a cutting is dealing with. It's vulnerable. It has no roots to absorb water properly, but its leaves are still losing moisture.
Transpiration.
Exactly. If you put that stress cutting in bright light, or worse, direct sun, it just loses water way too fast. It's trying to cool itself down, losing moisture, and it can't keep up.
So it dries out before it can root.
Precisely. The shade dramatically reduces that water loss, that transpirational stress. It lets the cutting calm down, conserve its energy, and focus everything it has stored in that stem on making roots, not fighting dehydration.
That makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. Reduce the stress, increase success.
That's the principle. For you, the listener, the takeaway is that the most efficient environment here isn't about maximizing photosynthesis right away. It's about minimizing the plant's immediate challenges.
I like that. It's about making it easy for the plant. And this wasn't just a one-off observation, was it?
No, and that's important. The notes explicitly say, my neighbor, who have also grown some coleus, have also confirmed my discovery as well.
So validation from next door. That definitely adds credibility.
It does. It suggests this isn't just one gardener's lucky spot, but a repeatable principle, at least in that local environment. Shade works. And it makes the whole process wonderfully simple because you're just using an existing shady spot under a tree by a wall, no extra gear needed.
Wonderfully simple. Okay, sold on the shade. We have that low-stress shady spot. Now, the how. How do we actually get these cuttings rooted? The notes mention different methods based on size.
Yeah, basically. It depends on whether you've got those typical small side shoots or maybe a bigger piece that snapped off.
Let's start with the small ones, the regular cuttings.
Right. For those, the method is refreshingly basic. You just take the cutting and stick it directly into the cell of a regular seedling tray.
Okay, what's in the tray?
Just standard stuff, either seedling or potting mix. Nothing special, no mention of rooting hormone or anything complicated like that.
And then just leave it.
Pretty much, but with one key instruction. Watering. You need to water them regularly to maintain moisture. That's critical.
Makes sense, especially since they can't pull water up easily yet.
Exactly. But because they're in the shade, keeping that moisture consistent is much easier than if they were baking in the sun. After that initial setup and regular watering, the goal is simply to let them grow largely on their own. Minimal interference.
Hands-off gardening. I love it. Okay, so that covers the small cuttings. What about those large cuttings you mentioned? The ones maybe broken by wind, the chunkier bits?
Yeah, the ones that might be too big or heavy for those little seedling cells. A bigger cutting is obviously heavier, maybe has more leaves, so it needs more immediate support and, crucially, more water right away.
Right. Trying to prop up a big sloppy cutting in a tiny cell of soil might not work so well.
Exactly. And keeping enough moisture around the base in just soil might be tough for a bigger piece. So the environment changes slightly to meet its physical needs.
Still in the shade, though.
Oh yes, shade is constant. But for these large cuttings, the notes describe switching to water propagation, placing them in a jar of water.
Ah, the classic water rooting method.
Yep. The water provides instant continuous hydration right at the cut surface, which a large cutting needs, and the jar itself gives it the physical stability to stay upright.
And is that high maintenance? Does it fit the wonderfully simple theme?
Seems so. The only maintenance mentioned is changing the water occasionally once it becomes muddy. That's it. No complicated feeding schedules or anything.
So really, just two clear paths based on size. Small cuttings go in moist soil in the shade. Large cuttings go in water in the shade.
That's the system. Simple, logical, and efficient, driven by the physical reality of the cutting. Both methods leveraging that key, low-stress, shaded environment.
Okay, this is great. It feels like we've really distilled a practical, almost effortless way to get loads of Coleus plants.
Yeah, to kind of synthesize the main takeaways for you. Successful, easy Coleus propagation really comes down to a few things. First, work with the plant. Use those abundant side shoots it naturally provides. Second, value what matters, the foliage, not the flowers. And third, the absolute key. Use that shaded microclimate. That's the success zone. Keep it consistently moist, and you're golden. The efficiency isn't in fancy techniques. It's built into choosing the right location.
Right. The success really hinges on good observation and just setting up the right conditions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We wanted an efficient shortcut, and it turns out the shortcut is create the perfect environment, that cool, moist shade, and then just step back.
Let the plant do its thing.
Exactly. Really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we overcomplicate things? We feel this urge to constantly do something, add steps, buy gadgets, when maybe the most efficient path is just careful observation, setting the stage correctly, and then trusting the process, trusting nature to handle the rest.
A pretty compelling case for strategic patience, maybe.
I like that, strategic patience. Well, until the next deep dive, maybe take a look around your own space and see what the environment might be telling you.